What's going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video. Today we're going to talk about, will stacking precious metals make you rich? So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so super interesting topic today. Will precious metals and stacking them make you rich? So, I get the feeling that a lot of new people in the community, especially the silver community, have this idea that they are going to become rich overnight from stacking precious metals. Now this video is describing all the precious metals, or covering all the precious metals, I should say, and is not just solely geared towards silver. Now, will stacking precious metals make you rich? Well, it really kind of depends on who you ask. And I want to kind of go into depth on that just a little bit. So, will you become rich overnight? No. Will precious metals make you rich by themselves? No. Will stacking them over time create an amount of wealth that would be considered rich to some? Yes, and what do I mean by that? Stacking, and the term stacking, and stackers who mostly existed before recent times, the reason they were stacking precious metals was because they could take their wealth and they could put it into something and it would hold its value, and over time they continued to add to their stack and their stack grew and they became more wealthy overall as a whole. And that's really the main goal and the main idea behind precious metals, is you want to preserve your wealth. Now, not everyone does it for wealth preservation, and I understand that. However, if, say, you stacked silver eagles from when they started in, what was it, 86, 87, to now, and you stacked a tube a year, right? One tube a year. Roughly, that's 35 tubes. So 35 tubes of silver eagles is quite a lot of money right now. And the cost of eagles has gone up over time. Now there were a couple blips in the midst of that time period where silver eagles were exponentially more expensive. In 2011, they were around 50 bucks an eagle. So if you bought then, you paid a little bit too much. However, if you bought most other years, you paid a decent amount of money. And so, averaging it all together, you should be up on your stacking game. And your wealth should have increased, not only because you were saving money by putting it in precious metals and holding on to it, but also because those precious metals gained in value over the past 35 years. And it doesn't matter whether you were stacking platinum, whether you were stacking really even copper, or gold, or silver, all the precious metals over the past 35 years have gone up in value. Just naturally, right? Now, there's been unnatural occurrences that have caused certain metals to go way higher at certain times. Gold was at $2,000 a little bit over a year ago. Silver was at 50 bucks about 10 years ago. Platinum was well over $2,000 as well around 10 years ago. So there have been moments in between the beginning and now at which the price has gone up exponentially, and it's come down from that, but it has stayed above where you started out 35 years ago if you did. And that's really the whole point, is you want to stack the precious metals so that you can preserve your overall wealth for the future, right? And if you do this, you should, if you do it wisely, end up, quote, rich, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people make it seem as though you will be able to get rich in the short amount of time. I'm afraid that's not really going to happen. At least that's never happened in the history of ever with precious metals. No one's ever gotten rich overnight or even over a year or more. You know, this is a long-term game. Many stackers realize this and they understand this, right? They understand that they're going to be stacking this stuff and it's a long-term game. It's a long-term commitment. When they buy precious metals, they need to be using money that they do not intend on getting back for a very long time. But when they do get it back, they should get more back than what they put in. And that's the whole point, right? Preserving wealth, you know, investing, whatever your reason for doing it is, it's to make yourself financially better off than before, right? That's with any real investment you make, is you hope to be financially more better off. Now, precious metals is one of the safest assets to invest in because they have always had value, they always will have value, and they have value right now. So that's something that's never going to change. Companies come and go, you know, stocks come and go, real estate ebbs and flows, but it's kind of similar. Fiat dollars just continue to get more and more worthless as the years go on. Cars are an investment, but they are a sinking investment, right? They are a depreciating asset is what they are classified as. So you do get money out of the car once you sell it, but you'll never get what you put into it. That's because cars are used and abused every day, and their lifespan is limited. Precious metals' lifespan is realistically unlimited, right? You might have metals corrode, you might have metals tone or tarnish or, you know, what have you, but it would take an eternity for this silver coin to completely wither away into nothing. If it ever even happened, to be honest. And so that is what that's the point I wanted to get across in this video is, will precious metals make you rich? Well, in the long haul, yes. If you start when you're 25 or something, or 30 or 35, and you just stack for, I don't know, 50 years until you're 80, 85, and you're getting closer to the end of life, chances are, if you've done it correctly, and if you've done it wisely, you will end up on top in the long haul. And one thing I want to mention is, it doesn't really matter what precious metal you stack. A lot of people don't like copper, right? There's a high premium attached to copper. Take, for instance, these copper rounds. If you were to buy these from a dealer, chances are you'd pay $2 or $3 per round. Now that is a lot more than what the copper value is worth, right? Now some people really do believe in copper very strongly, and so they stack it a whole lot. And there's nothing really wrong with that. But I brought out the copper because I wanted to make a point that all the way from copper all the way up to gold and platinum, it doesn't really matter what precious metal you stack. More likely than not, the value of that metal will continue to go up over time because they are seen as commodities. Now, I made a video recently talking about gold no longer being considered a commodity, and that could change with Basel III and things like that. But for the most part, these are seen as commodities. These are seen as assets. These are seen as things that you have, that you hold on to, that have value, right? And with inflation, the value of everything goes up, right? A gallon of milk probably used to be a nickel, right? But you'll never find a gallon of milk for a nickel anywhere you go. At the very least, in my area of the country, I'll be lucky to find it on sale just randomly for like $1, right? But that's a super random, rare occurrence. Typically, a store is just trying to get rid of some milk that's expiring in a week or two. And they're like, here, take it for $1. We just don't want it anymore because it's going to go bad. But getting a gallon of milk for a nickel wasn't that uncommon quite a while ago. So the price of everything goes up, and with it, the prices of precious metals and the value attached to precious metals. So if you want to end up rich, in the end, if you want to end up rich stacking precious metals, just stack what you can afford, what is feasible, what you see fit for you. And over time, you'll watch your wealth grow. And overall, who knows? Maybe you will end up sitting on a nice, healthy stack when you are in your later years. And you will be able to consider yourself rich. Another thing I want to mention is rich is a relative term. Many people see it differently. It really depends on where you're from, what part of the country you're in, and things of that nature. Down here in Georgia, where I'm at, a $500,000 house is you're doing pretty well, right? I mean, that's really good, right? Most people that own a $500,000 house have done things well as far as their investments, as far as saving, stuff like that, and they've ended up in a $500,000 house, and that is really success in the South, at least where I'm from. Now, out in California, a $500,000 doesn't get you nearly as much, so rich is going to be different out there. But one thing that is the same, no matter where you're at, is the price of precious metals. Now, taxes are added on to precious metals depending on what state you are in, and so that is something to account for, I suppose. However, realistically, if you just keep stacking, one day you will hit whatever that rich level is to you and whatever you consider to be rich. If you make that a goal of yours, you should be able to attain it as long as you make wise decisions from a financial standpoint. And so that's what I have for you today, guys. Will precious metals ever make you rich? Well, it really depends. Every scenario is different. However, if you just keep on stacking and you make it into your later years, having not made any major mistakes along the way, you should end up very, very well off. So I appreciate everyone stopping by and checking out the video today. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already so you can stay up to date with future updates on my channel. Be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section down below letting me know your thoughts. What is rich to you, right? Is it a lot of money? Is it a nice house? Is it a nice car? Is it just the ability to live comfortably without worrying about money? You know, it really can vary depending on the individual, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So with all that being said, guys, until next time, we will see you.